Welcome back to Samurai Reviews. Today we are reviewing Knives Out. Coda's here today. Thanks, bud. Took us a minute to get reviewing. Like we said in the last one, finals. Scheduling also came into play. But here now. Yes. So, what do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. So Knives Out. So I really like murder mystery type stories. You know, TV show Sherlock Holmes is probably my all-time favorite show ever. Over recent years, there has not been any good murder mystery movies just out there. Storytelling for those murder mysteries,
they're just cliche.
It's very cliche, and it's the same. Basically, you have a murder. There's a detective that comes into play, and there's investigation. The last scene is basically the detective spoiling who's like the culprit behind the murder mystery. And that's how it usually runs. Yeah, most murder mysteries, as it would be interesting to find out who like did it and how like the detective like work came out. Usually the way of storing and how it's edited is the same. And that's what makes it very cliche. That being said, this movie Knives Out, it's actually original. It's an original piece. And why I say that is because the storytelling is very unpredictable, because it's never been done in a murder mystery that I've seen so far. And I'll get more into that in the spoilers. But I give this movie credit for the way the story kind of flowed and how it left the audience entertained throughout the whole movie. My rating for this movie, for Knives Out, is a solid 8. Acting was amazing between everybody. Within the movie, it did not feel that the characters was kind of out of place. All of the subplots for those characters actually held the story together. Usually most subplots in other movies kind of just, it's a side mission type thing. So this actually, all the subplots held its place into the general bigger story. Daniel Craig's character's accent was a little heavy for me, but I think it did the job, and eventually you got used to it.
So those are the parts where like it's hard to differentiate in this, like reviewing this movie, where it's kind of parodical, like a parody, and it's like showing you a genuinely good mystery thriller, because they toe the line a lot of times and they do it really well. But it definitely has moments where you're like, I mean, that's cliche, but they're making fun of the cliche, kind of. And then they do, like, write the cliche later on. And so it's really hard to, like, go back and forth between it. But I agree with you, for the most part, they did it very well. They're exaggerating a lot in this movie, but that's not the point of the movie. Like, I would still call this a genuine mystery movie.
Murder mystery, movie.
They definitely were making fun of murder mystery movies. So I think that's the most unique part of this movie. Yeah, they didn't go for like cheap laughs, but they just like went for like it almost like made nods. It feel like highbrow comedy. But you like I'm not that smart, but I'm laughing. So like, but it's like, they're kind of like thinker jokes, I guess.
Yep, that was the end of it.
All right.
Yeah,
so 8.
I have to get into the spoilers in order to explain what's going on.
Expound upon your reasoning. Okay. Well, my rating is also an 8. I don't think I'd give it any higher than that. I agree with most of your points. I think it was very different than I was going in expecting. Like I remember going in and I was like, this is going to be like Murder on the Orient Express all over again.
Yeah, where some like detective
has in the
some
house,
like
in a fixed location, and they're like, and so I was waiting for that. And it very much wasn't. Like, it didn't make me think of Murder on the Orient Express at all.
Or during the Sherlock Holmes or any of like the murder mystery movies or shows.
It was just like, oh, this is its movie. I think some of the biggest negatives I can think of are some of the pacing stuff and some of the... And they did that because they're kind of trying to misdirect you. And they're good misdirects. But they come at weird times in the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, some of them come really early on when they kind of like... just like reveal what like half of what's going on, and you're just like, you're just gonna tell me that? They reveal a lot more than you're expecting, a lot earlier on than you're expecting in this movie, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of like it jolts you a little bit, and it kind of takes you out of the movie at times, just because you kind of like, oh, well, that's what I was kind of interested in, but then they present you with something more interesting, and you're like, okay, cool. So like I don't think that's a negative, but it definitely like is kind of why it's not higher than an 8. So yeah, I agree with you. Most like over the last couple of years, mystery movies have really struggled with originality, and I think this definitely breaks that chain. The characters in it are very like fresh and interesting. The whole like family that's involved, like I don't think there's a single member of that family that I didn't think was like either funny, interesting, or like weird in a good way. Yeah, they created a pretty unique world with a lot of fun characters, and I think that goes a long way to why this movie did so well. Yeah, like I said when you were talking, there are moments that come across as a little cliche, but it's most of the reasoning behind that is because they are trying to kind of like poke fun at the classic murder mysteries. Like there's a lot of like kind of Clue kind of moments in it where but it's kind of like jovial, and they do balance it very well where it's not like it's still a murder mystery while kind of being like funny in that it makes fun of murder mysteries. It's really weird, but they play that dynamic really well. The only other thing that I kind of didn't like is like the consequences for some of the characters were a little like non-existent almost. Sure. And it made for a good movie, so I wasn't really that upset. But it definitely, that's another thing that kind of keeps it where it's at. But yeah, overall, eight solid movie. I would recommend it at some point, but there are just so many good movies out right now, so it's hard to say for sure. But yeah, so that's a Samurai review of 8, totaled up. So that's a pretty good one.
All right, well that's our non-spoiler part of Knives Out. Catch us next time on the spoiler part of Knives Out. That'll be coming soon. Take care, guys, and we'll see you later. Perfect.